Whenever I do a build, it's often accompanied by a seed, the original idea that the whole build sprouts from. In this case, it's the Speedy feat. The Speedy feat is going to allow us to do a couple different things. It gives us 10 feet of increased movement speed, and it makes every single opportunity attack have disadvantage against us. So it gives us the freedom to move around our enemies really well. So I took the Speedy feat, and who does the Speedy feat work really well with? It really works well with archers. It allows us to be incredible at kiting our enemies. If they get up close to us, now we can retreat and they attack at disadvantage, which allows us to attack them not at disadvantage. So it gives us so much flexibility. Plus, because we move faster than our enemies, now they can't catch up to us or run away from us. So we are extremely powerful in a defensive playstyle where we're just always keeping that annoying distance from our enemies and peppering them down over time. That's what we're going to do with this build. This is Rapid Hunt. Alright, with Rapid Hunt, we need to choose a lineage. And the lineage I'm going with is going to be Wood Elf. The other one that really stood out was Orc, because their bonus action dash, it synergizes with Speedy quite a bit. But at the end of the day, that took a bonus action. And as a ranger and as a Beast Master ranger in particular, we don't have bonus actions to spare. Went with Wood Elf because we get some bonuses to our speed that don't require our bonus action, namely a base 5 feet of extra movement speed, and secondarily, Long Strider can be cast before a combat to give us an additional 10 if we time it well. I'm not going to rely on Long Strider, it's just a nice bonus when we do it well, but also lets us do cool things like touch our animal companion, cast Long Strider on them, and let them go do the hunting. As for our background, I went with Guide. This is a flavor choice, so really Guide is just making us feel more like an outdoors person. As for our ability scores, Dexterity is our primary, our secondary is going to be Wisdom, and our tertiary is going to be Constitution. The rest are all dumpable. We're going into Ranger level 1. We're going to get some spell casting here, and I'll talk about some spells that stand out to me. Of course, we have Hunter's Mark. That definitely can be a part of what we do, and even the feature that lets us have advantage on tracking our enemies fits this build really well. We want to be able to track well so we can keep hunting them down and keep peppering them. They just can't escape from us. And if they try and turn around and attack us, we just keep that exact annoying distance from them. But that's not the only good first level spell we have. Ensnaring Strike really stands out to me with this build, because if we're kiting an enemy, the easiest enemy to kite is someone with 0 speed who's taking additional damage at the start of their turn and has to use an action to break out of our spell that we used with a bonus action. It's just a lot of value packed into one spell, so long as you're focused on a single target, which we kind of are. So I'm really happy to take it here. Fog Cloud is the next one I have. Such a good spell. It can make fights not happen, and a fight that is avoided is often a fight won. Not to mention that it just neutralizes if all of your enemies have advantage and all your allies have disadvantage. It just creates everything at base. But also, one of the weaknesses of this build is if your enemies have really good ranged attacks, because that's all that people are going to be able to use against us primarily is ranged attacks. So putting a Fog Cloud on all the ranged threats while you focus down the non-ranged threats is a good way to divide and conquer a battlefield. Force those ranged enemies to come closer to your allies. Weapon Mastery, Longbow is a must. It's going to give us the slow weapon mastery, which every time we hit an enemy, they're going to lose 10 feet of movement speed. Each enemy can only lose 10 a turn. That's huge as a kiter. That's huge as someone hunting someone down. That's huge just to spread it around your enemies so they have a harder time maneuvering around your allies. Just a freaking good weapon mastery here. The other one you take really doesn't matter. Longbow's basically all we're going to be using. Even in melee, we get to run away. Once we hit level 4, they're going to attack us at disadvantage, and then we can keep using our longbow from there. And I bet you the next turn, they're not going to be able to close the distance, considering they lost 10 feet of movement speed, and we're going to have so freaking much of it. Level 2, we're taking the archery fighting style, making us more accurate, which is just good for damage and good for spreading around that slow debuff. We also get Deft Explorer. I'm taking expertise in animal handling with this build. I love being the Beast Master with expertise in animal handling, convincing animals to go do cool stuff for us. Combined with the ritual Speak with Animals, which I'm also taking, they all just come together to give you a whole branch of NPCs you normally can't interact with. Have them be your scouts, have them be your test dummies, have them be your homies, whatever you want. It's cool. Level 3, we're taking Beast Master, going into the Beast Master Subclass. This lets us talk to our animal and have it do things for us. I like a bird because it fits our playstyle of just doing some damage from afar. Its flyby allows it to do hit and runs. You can go the Beast of the Land if you want something tankier, but the Beast of the Land knocks things prone, which gives you disadvantage on your attacks. So I think the Beast of the Sky is the better of the two. Level 4, we're taking the Speedy feat. Everything I've talked about really comes online here. We are incredible at kiting the second we take this feat. Level 5, we get extra attack. This is going to increase our ability to kill a single target better, but it also allows us to spread the slow debuff more, so it hits both nodes quite well. We get some second level spells here. Beast Sense is pretty cool with our bird. We can see through its eyes and get a bird's eye view of everything. It's a ritual spell, so it's not going to take a spell slot. Kind of feels like Find Familiar in a lot of ways. Enhanced ability is fun, both to give to our animals and to have ourselves. I particularly like it as a buff for our animals, so they can have advantage on perception, so they can track our enemies for us. It's just cool. Locate object also goes into that tracking feature. Just say an object that's on their person and track them down, especially if it's a unique object. Really fun. I really like locate object. I've never used it and been disappointed. Summon Beast is a new concentration spell that we can focus on. You can do the flyby tactic, or you can put a beast out there who gets pack tactics with an ally. If you have the allies up front, I would go Beast of the Land more often than not, but if you're in a hunting mode, Beast of the Sky could be good in that moment. Level 6, we get Roving, which gives us swim speed and climb speed, which is great, but it also gives us a bonus of 10 feet of movement speed. So right now, we're a Wood Elf, 35. We took Speedy, 45. Now we took Roving, 55 movement speed. If we have Long Strider, 65 movement speed. We're dashing every single turn without having to use any sort of dash action. Incredible for keeping away from enemies or driving them down. Really, really awesome. Level 7, we get Exceptional Training. This is going to allow our animal companion to do so much more with the same bonus action we put into them. Allows them to take the dodge action or dash action or the help action, but those first two are the ones I'm looking at. Dodge increases the tankiness if they're trying to target it down, and dash increases the mobility just to make it impossible to get away from them. Level 8, we have the option to go Wisdom or Dexterity here. You're going to want to bump one of those two. Bumping Wisdom is going to give your animals and spells a bump. Bumping Dexterity is going to give your bow a bump. Either direction is really valid here, and whatever you don't do, you're going to want to do later. Level 9, we get more expertise, not the biggest deal. I'm going to do Perception and Survival just to go with the flavor of being a hunter, being someone who tracks someone down, but I think you would also be just as valid to take something like Stealth here. As for our third level spells, Lightning Arrow stands out to me as our first non-concentration option. Rangers really struggle with concentration, but yeah, Lightning Arrow is good for non-concentration, fits the flavor, is cool, gives us an AoE option. I like it. It's not incredible, but I like it. Then we have Summon Fae to continue the concentration spell that we can throw out there, and Fae is just a good summon. So we'll pick it up here. Level 10, we get Tireless. It's honestly not the biggest deal. Sure, we can get rid of Exhaustion easier, but that doesn't come up that often. The more important one is that we just increase our tankiness a little bit. In between combats, just use an action, get some temp HP. After you're done with the next combat, do the same thing. But honestly, I don't expect us to be taking that many hits. Sure, we'll take a few stray ones, so this absorbs those. Level 11, we get Bestial Fury. This is fantastic for just getting an extra attack on our animal companion, which just increases our damage output and allows us to kill people easier. Moving forward, we just keep doing the same thing. Keep investing in Wisdom, keep investing in Dexterity. Those are going to be our biggest buffs. And as for all the other options, they kind of just lean into it. They might give you invisibility. They might let you share your Long Strider with your animal companion and yourself. Whatever it is, it's just going to continue the same theme. Things we're really looking for with this build is extra mobility options, like Slippers of Spider Climb, for example, or something that gives you flying, something that allows you to use this movement in more dimensions than just flat ground. Getting a really nice bow is also a big deal with this build, so really look out for those magic bows. As for our weakness, it's really tight quarters. That's what I'd say. It's hard to say our weakness is melee because we're just going to avoid it so well, but if we're really stuck in a small area, that's going to hinder this build by a lot. But my feelings are that doesn't happen too often, that you're in such an enclosed space that you can't utilize mobility. Most of the time you can utilize some form of mobility. And that's Rapid Hunt. Let me know what you guys would do with the Speedy feat. What would grow from your seed of Speedy feat? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that, my friends, hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.